If you tuned in yesterday during the unboxing, you may have got the hint that today is all about Doom during this sweeps week. So once again today, I'm going to give you a hint about the statue to come tomorrow. But I have to say, you have to be listening carefully, so hush. You know, I didn't want to say it yesterday, but this may be a week full of grails arriving to the extreme table. And this one, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think it would be a grail, but my opinion has greatly changed. And my opinion was the opposite of what most people's were. So this is officially a custom, means a private unlicensed commission, 1/4 scale Doctor Doom on throne statue. And there's a number of other Doctor Dooms out there that have all touted to be some of the best statues that have ever been made. Some I completely disagree with. One I do agree with. It's actually this piece right here that I've reviewed. And since this is decently similar, you guys know what that means. We are actually going to do another video, probably in a week or so, of an Extrumble or Extreme Rumble, where we compare this statue to that statue and see which one is the better piece. So this one is finally here in my collection, and I like it so much, I actually rearranged my thrones. They're behind me again, and then he's going to go right there. Perfect, so you can see him every single time. But as I was saying is, initially, when this was shown to everybody, everybody was oohing and ahhing over it, and I kind of jumped on the hype train, even though secretly I was like, man, this is not better than my other Doctor Doom on throne. But let's get it anyway, who knows, worst case scenario, I sell it and get my money back. And then everybody really started fiending over it, saying, oh, this is so great. People started flipping it, and now it's going for a lot more. And as I unboxed him, I started to see what the hype was about. And even when he's sitting here, I am really impressed, kind of a spoiler. And I really wasn't a huge fan. We're going to talk about some of those specifics. But before we do, we are so close to the next giveaway. It's probably going to happen in the next week. Check it out. We are going to hit 20,000 subscribers in 2020. To do that, we're giving away a statue every 2,500 subs. At 15,000 subs, the winner will get to choose between these two PCS Mortal Kombat statues. Make sure that you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Then stay tuned towards the end of this video to find out how to enter. Alright, so let's just dive into this review and look at the good parts of this. And to be honest with you, there's not really a lot of bad parts. But with the concept, it's kind of not very original. Obviously, Sideshow's original premium format, Doom on Throne, is very popular out there. And what's cool about this is I think it takes a few of the elements from that and then some modernized stuff and mixes it together. So I think that's why everybody, or not everybody, but a majority of the people have liked this so much. So let's take a look. So, classic Doom, this definitely looks like it's a throne room. Not only, obviously, because of the carpet that's in front, but this stone stairway that goes up to the throne. So I really like that. I think that's what's different about this and some of the other throne statues that's on there. Also, I like a lot of things about the size we'll talk out during the design of this piece. And he's sitting there in what I call a Mac Daddy pose. He's really just conquered the world. He knows what he's about. He can sit however he wants. He's the king. He has people waiting on him, servants. Clearly shows his power. Now, a lot of throne pieces show defeated enemies. This doesn't show any of them. There are a number of switch outs that do tell a little bit different story. This one, he's kind of looking at his mask, contemplating, which is what a lot of the Doom statues seem to be doing, whether they're on a throne or standing up. But his robes are flowing. The throne itself is magnificent. Front, back, left, right, awesome. And it's Doom. It shows his power. It shows his royalty. It shows he's just a badass. So I think they did a great job with the concept. It's not incredibly unique by any means, but as I said, they incorporated a few different elements from what people had done before and then added their own twist on it. And I really like that. And then they just really knocked it out of the park with a lot of the detail that we're going to see in here. So concept, I'm not going to give it a 5 because it's not original, but it is a 4 out of 5, I think. There are some things I would have liked to see differently, but most of those I would say are in the design aspect of it, which is what we'll talk about now. So before we go over the unboxing, let me actually do the dimensions for you. It's 18 inches on the widest point, 17, a little over 17 on the deepest point, and I believe the height was right at 21 3/4. So I do like the fact that it is pretty displayable for a throne piece, even though the throne is a huge part of this. But let's take a look at the unboxing. So it was a really large box, but as you see, I was scared to death to open it because apparently UPS said, I'm going to let this sit out in the rain for a long, long time and get tons of water damage all over the box. It even smelled like mold. Tiny bit of an art box cover, which was also wet, so I was pretty afraid. However, on the inside, everything was dry and wrapped up, which was nice with no damage. So here's the two different layers. The throne itself took up most of the box. So a number of different switch outs. Let's start actually with the portraits here. First is the unmasked portrait. And I'm showing him with his hood on. And with this portrait, he's always looking at his hand. And then you could, if you wanted to, display him without the hood, but I'm not a fan of this at all. Then here is a masked portrait where he's also staring at his hand in the hood on. And very similarly, you can display it without the hood, and I have the same feelings. There is another portrait where the key is sitting differently, so he's looking straight forward, which is definitely a nice option. And again, you can go without the hood. Now his right hand essentially has three different options. So one right here is his hand is just the way it is, and you can set the mask in there. So here's kind of a picture of that. And obviously you'd want to do the unmasked portrait with this. Or you can switch out his hand and have him holding a cup. This is a cool option too. And then the last one, kind of interesting, you can display it without the hand, and there's another hand that's very similar because this hand actually has a light up feature. Now I didn't have the right batteries, and to me it's not a big deal because I will never use this light up feature because it just lights this up, I assume, right here, which you wouldn't even see from the front. But one incredibly interesting thing is on his back underneath his cloak. Look at this. I have no idea why this exists. The cloak doesn't have a key that fits into here. I almost wonder if the initial engineering of this, they were going to have him seat into the throne and they found out a different way to do it. After they already started doing the production pieces of Doom, they did the throne differently. I'm not sure. But it doesn't really affect anything. He's not as big and heavy as I thought he would be.
That's what she said.
I think it would have been nice if they had a different option with his hand not up. I'm not digging that as the only essentially display option, even though there are a few different switch outs, so I think that's a little bit of a knock. One other issue too, unless you make this a centerpiece, you miss out on all of this, which we'll see a lot of these close-ups in Paint and Sculpt, but as a spoiler, it's phenomenal. So I think that's a little bit of a negative. You have all this beauty that you really can't display. And you're thinking, Mr. X, would you have rather had the back plain? No, of course not, but just trying to nitpick at it a little bit. So I think the design overall is a 4 out of 5 as well. There's some things I really like about it. Let's jump into Paint and Sculpt, and I actually did a video for you guys. Check it out. So much to cover on this piece, so let's just start down here at the concrete part of the base. It's done extremely well. I like what they did with a lot of the colors. On top of the faded grays and whites, you can actually almost see like some green in there, especially in different lights. And I think it complements the green on the throne and Doom himself really well. The neat layered brick pattern is awesome. But of course, we are here for the throne. So most people will have this not as a centerpiece, so you won't even see this. I'm not a huge fan of the white color, but I think it does add to that majestic feeling. And it's not pure white. You see it's all faded in here, and you have Doom on a horse with all the people worshiping. So, and this is three-dimensional, which is a pretty neat kind of Easter egg that they have hidden in the back here. This gold ornamental design, and the throne itself is green, which I found really interesting. It's this faded green with only almost some splotches in there. Almost looks very calculated, even though it's randomized. Then let's look at these bronze pieces on the throne. So very, very cool. Again, very decorative, very king-like. What you'd expect. Doom, requires the best. And it's a bunch of different statuesque. So here you have a guy holding up a lion, and then just a giant circle with a symbol in the middle. Very, very, like I said, makes you think of king or royalty. A woman back here. Another creature with a robed head. You have the Mephisto on here. I like my statues symmetrical, so I'm kind of bummed that it's not the same throughout. Although the front has it. You have someone else holding up a lion head here. And the paint on this is fantastic. The gold mixed with the brown. The sculpt, of course, is phenomenal. The rug looks awesome. Mine's still a little dirty from the factory, you see, like right there. I need to blow that off with an air blower, but they even have some of that gold trim on the carpet here. The carpet has this cool pattern. Looks like real carpet. They did a fantastic job on that. And you'll see that on the chair too. This looks like real cushion. This red back here has this sequence pattern. Same thing with the armrests. Few indentions to almost make it look like it's cloth. His armor, at first I wasn't digging, but the more I look at it, the more I like it. I like those dark streaks. A lot of times you see Doom kind of newer. This one actually, even though I've only seen pictures, reminds me a little bit of the Sideshow premium format Doom on Throne, but I like the layers on it, all the rivets, the colorization they used. Very, very cool. Now his clothing, again, looks amazing. They added this yellow shading, and because my box was soaked, first thing I saw were the hoods, and I thought that maybe it was some water damage, but it's not. It's meant to be that way throughout, because I think if it was too clean, it just wouldn't look right. So I think it flows with the statue, and I think this yellow really complements the ornate gold designs. We didn't really look at this part, but some very cool D's on the side, obviously, for Doom. And they did a great job. You see a little bit of anatomy, so you assume maybe he's not wearing armor under there, but they have some folds in it and then some darker shading, not only with some yellow highlights, but some black right there. And the two buttons holding his cloak on. Again, tons of tiny little designs. The print is fabulous on that. His belt looks like real leather. Look at this. On camera, it looks a little more red than it does in person. It looks more of a brown leather type color. I like how the cloak flows down. Kind of a pimp pose, if you will. And I may have said that already. Check out his mask. His mask looks a lot cooler with his hand holding it. If it's just laying there, it does not. Now let's try and focus on his face here. I'm not a fan of this face without the hood, but it looks great. I like the colors they used. He looks pissed off, annoyed. It's a good expression for him. The skin tone is a lot darker. It's very raw, kind of like someone's face who was burned or got, ran through a meat mixer. So right here is a helmeted portrait, or a mask portrait. And one thing I noticed is when these are off of his body, they don't look as good. However, when they're on there, they look fabulous. You can see a little bit of the skin beneath the eyes. And I believe this is the one that looks forward. So green eyes on there. Paint job on the eyes is okay. Pretty difficult to do that, but you have the same pattern fading, or the weather fade. The almost looks like it's worn. Then even like the cup here, the intricate design on this with the jewels. This kind of detail is just nuts. And initially I This is a lot more impressive than I thought it would be. It had a lot of hype to live up to. But I think with the sculpt and even the paint, I mean, look at the details even on the paint right there. That's a part you would never see. Incredibly well done. Kind of a no-brainer on these scores, but we'll go over it anyway. Paint is phenomenal. It's probably one of the best factory paint jobs I've ever seen. I love it. I love the art direction on it. It's a 5 out of 5 on the paint, without a doubt. And I think the sculpt, I wish we could actually give it a higher score. Again, I love every part of it. The ornate designs on the throne, Dr. Doom himself. One of the reasons I was a little worried about this piece is I thought he was going to be a little bit too bulky. In a lot of the pictures, he just looked way too bulky. I don't think he is at all. I think he's the perfect size for Dr. Doom. But the sculpt is obviously an X. It's a 5 out of 5 on the sculpt as well. Now let's jump into value of this piece. So I believe they made around 60, then a number of APs. I don't know how many because mine is actually an AP, so it doesn't have the numerated version on the bottom. Price on this guy was around $1,800, I think, because there's a conversion rate. Then shipping was $500 for economy shipping, I think right around there. So you're about $2,200, $2,300 all in, which is about what the other custom Doom on Throne piece goes. But this is highly sought after. I know people are flipping it for more already, and you can obviously see why. So I can definitely get my money back. Is this the best Doom statue ever made? We're going to find that out during that Extrumble video we're going to do. But I think the value is very high on this. I think it's 4 out of 5. I could definitely make a profit. Definitely has some qualities that I don't think will be beaten for a long time. And I think this gears towards a lot of audiences. So is this an X statue? Does it have the X factor? Is it a 5 out of 5? You know, I don't add all the other scores up, but I look at it when I walk by. Is he going to be impressive? There's a reason I want him right behind me in every single review. This is an X statue. It is a 5 out of 5. It is way better than I anticipated. A lot of people had a lot of hype on this piece, and they were right. So really well done. So happy I have this in my collection. Let me know if you think that this beats Sideshow or the other custom Doom on Throne I've done. Like I said, we'll do a video to actually find that out, but I ask you to comment because this may be the video that actually goes into the giveaway. To win one of these Mortal Kombat statues, all you have to do is comment on a video. At 15,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick a random video and pick a random comment. That person will win the prize. They can choose between these two pieces. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Watching these every day is like poison. But make sure to hit that Mr. X logo. It's sweeps week. You want to catch all these videos when they come down. Until tomorrow, where another amazing piece will be here, make sure to check out some of these other custom statues. Take care.